Hi, my name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and I'm a psychologist, and I am in the woods right now. Look behind me. We're on another nature walk, contemplation, and today is really funny because I'll show you where I am. These are right below me. They smell really good, and this is where I am. If you see, there's no path. So it looks like there's no path. But, there's the sun, of course. So let's find the path. See how it looks like there isn't one. There wasn't where I was. Look at that sun. I couldn't go any further as far as I could see. But I went to here because today, my intuition led me to go this way, of course, because of what I was meditating on. All right. So today, as far as I know, look at the sun rays. That's so amazing. As far as I know, what we're talking about is learning how to not be stubborn in our lives. And stubborn has to do with fear. So it's not just stubbornly tell yourself, don't be stubborn, because that doesn't work. And let me tell you what stubbornness is. As a psychologist, I learned this, again, from Dr. Surkis in Montreal, Surkis, this beautiful, elderly Jewish man that was so wise. He was like a Gandalf, you know? I love Gandalf. So he said that stubborn is a mixture of anger and inflexibility. So let me think if stubborn has depression in it. Well, depression is like a low-grade anger. So, here's my spot. Okay. I saw this on the way up. I'm like, we're passing here. And I have to tell you, I saw the most glorious deer I've ever seen today. And I tried to get on camera, but it was one of those times when you push the camera and you accidentally push it twice. So I got to see him. And today he was different because, hold on, I'm finding a place. He was right next to me. Like, let's say he was right here, and I was meditating and walking by, and so I was looking up at a hawk, and he just jumped and jumped and jumped, like, so beautifully across my path. And I've never seen that like that before. Let's see. All right, I think this is good enough. I'll come to the edge. I thought this was where I was before, but of course it wasn't, because today we're doing something different. That is the theme. Okay, let me put these. These ought to come in the story later. It's so incredible. Let me set them down. I don't want to be... Anyway. All right. Here, I'll show you the view. You can ground yourself. I ground myself sometimes by looking at the wind moving the leaves. So we get stubborn, not on purpose, but if stubborn is a mixture of two things, of anger and inflexibility, then we are angry because things aren't going in this way of love, in this way of peace, in this way of, what we want, let's say. And so we get angry or we get frustrated or whatever. And inflexibility has to do with fear. When we go into our fear state, which a lot of people right now have been in fear state. Hopefully some people or most people or a lot of people are coming out of it. But here, let me get down. But the fear state keeps you in your primal brain, and it keeps you in a lower state of consciousness, like low vibes and stuff, if you want to look at it that way, low vibration. It keeps you, look, instead of looking at the world from up here where we are right now, you're way down below, and so you're not going to see the world the same way. There's going to be a lot more choices up here available to you when you get out of your fear brain. So there are some people, and you don't have to get all weird on this or conspiracy theory or anything. You can just follow the money and understand that there are some people that have a lot of money and they want to keep their money because they hold it like this and they're ego-based, not higher consciousness-based. And so they think money is going to be their security. And so they like manipulating large groups of people to stay in a fear mindset. If they can do that, then they will. Or even if you think of like advertisements, will show you some, this person is happy and this person is hot or whatever, and you're not. And the way you can be is to spend all your money buying this product or whatever it is, So I'm not worried about like whatever powers want to do that. My job, as I see it, is to just help you understand how to recognize how we get in a fear mode and how to get out of it. And so one of the ways that has totally helped me is I found a teacher, or a teacher came to me. They say that when you're ready for a teacher comes to you, and here I am, So you were ready in your life for me to come to you, and I've had many, many, many teachers because I always want to know the highest and the best and the deepest. And, I'm not, anyway, I've had really excellent teachers. But one of them was teaching me about chakras, your energy centers. Some people aren't aware of these, or it doesn't matter if you know them or if what you call them, or if you think they exist or they don't or whatever. You can just think of it as another way to describe different centers of our body. And so it's like you have a crown, you have, like let's say you're connected to the heavens, give us this day our daily bread, forgive us. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Oftentimes when I say that as a meditation, as a getting grounded, I think of the heavens and connected to my crown. And then you have a place where your intuition comes from. And then you have your throat, which is your communication. And then you have your heart. And then you have your solar plexus, where they say your subconscious is. And then you have your womb area, or for men, it's just that same area. And then your rooted self, the part of you that's like rooted to the ground in a way or whatever. And all of them have different functions. I just tweeted, that's so funny, that came to me last night, a picture of like one's emotions, one's desire, they associate them with different aspects of us. One's communication or feelings, or I don't know that one right now. Oh, there's a tick. Okay, so let me get this off. I do not want that on me. There he goes. All right. So let's talk about when you get in your fear state. It's because in childhood things happen and you don't feel safe. And if your parents are scared because they don't know how to be parents yet, like they don't get an instruction book, and if they didn't get good parenting when they were children in some form or another, then when you come around, they don't always know how to parent you, or things happen or whatever, people go into their subconscious, one of the areas here. Oh, that's what I was going to say about the chakras, is what I learned from this teacher is how to open my chakras more. And I'm not going to recommend that because it's just another way to say, like, hi. The car wreck is keep going down. You're like more than halfway. You'll see it, and they painted Kobe Bryant's basketball on it and his number. Oh, really? Yeah. I'm just making a YouTube video in the woods. What's your YouTube channel? It's Dr. Cheryl Myers. Cheryl with a C. Okay, we'll follow. I'm a psychologist. Oh, thank you. That'd be awesome. Fun. Nice to meet you guys. That's so awesome. Oh, crap. Sorry. I don't know how to... What am I going to do? Because I was yelling in you guys' ear. Maybe I can take that section and put the volume down. Oh, it's 11:11 right now in my video. That's so rad. I'm like way off this path. And he just said, my darling, precious. And I'm like, yes, here I am. Anyway, that's so great. So, all right. So what I was saying is... what this whole started, this subject in my mind when I was meditating, I was thinking of the idea of have fun. I have this little note in my car, and of course it had fallen down, but it says have fun, make sure to have fun. Like I have to remind myself to have fun. I mean, you'd think this was before all this stuff happened, so like I was going through this crazy heartbreak, but that's okay. It's that's better now, and I learned so much through that, through my heartbreaking, and but what I was going to say is when you have fun, you're not in this lower primal brain. You're not in the fear state, and wild things can happen like that, and so the other idea about having fun is you try new things, you're more fluid, your ego isn't all rigid and running the show and trying to control everything and trying to keep everything back and like, I'm not risking that and I'm not risking that. Fine, you lose, you lose. What is it? No risk, no reward. You miss the reward. But what was just shown to me is not to be mean about that at all. Not to be mean to yourself, not to be mean to me. Because I was being shown in my meditation just now before I turned the camera on. Go off on this little trail right here, Cheryl. I'm like, okay, I'll go, no problem, And I was thinking how some of my friends don't come here in the woods with me because they're afraid of snakes. Some don't come because they're afraid of coyotes. Some don't come. This is 3 different people I'm thinking of because like it was raining the other day when I did that one video and I had my raincoat on. I'm like, guess what? We can just put on our raincoat. But we get stuck in our ways. And it's funny because everything's shut down right now because of what is going on. And because it's April of 2020 right now, and we're all going to remember this time, I'm sure. But, so what I was shown is, well, you go off your main path. So I usually go on this big path up this mountain, and today I was asking my intuition, my inner knowing, like, do I go on that one, or is it better to go on a different one? And it was like, I got led to this one, where they just said, where's the car wreck, There's an old like bootleg car that's wrecked down there. It's pretty cool. But anyway, so I came on this one, and it's a narrow trail. And then they were like, well, go, not they, whatever they is, my higher understanding, or in my prayer state, I was praying, like, imagining Christ walking with me, whatever it is for you guys. I learned from these things called the exercises of Saint Ignatius. And so I was doing a specific meditation. But anyway, so I went off, and then it was like, oh, well, this is a little like, this is different. And now I'm going into the woods. And then I looked down and I saw what looked like a snake skin. And I'm like, oh, great, a shed snake skin. And then I just heard all the bees right around me. And I'm like, if I stay in peace, then I don't feel like they're going to, sting me. And if they do, they do, whatever. I was still going to go to that till I could go to the very end. And then my timer went off, or I looked at it and it said, the end for that part. And so that's when I was going to start this video. So you saw me come back out of that path. But what happens is when you try new things, you teach yourself that you're going to be safe. It's going to be safe to try new things. When we got hurt pretty bad as children, or didn't feel safe or didn't feel protected, then we don't want to try new things, because I had to try a new thing, wash my hair. It's a little ratty today, so just forgive that. I wasn't sure if I was going to make a video today. Try new things, make a video with really dirty hair. Let's see if they found it. It's a different group of people. And so try new things. Like, I went off my path. I say, I think I'll let these people go by. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. There's a mom right now. Can you hear this? I wish you could hear this. Hi.
I didn't even see you. I just saw the trail.
I'm just making a YouTube video, so I came over here so the bikes won't get me, But I'm here with the bees. They're good. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I didn't want to scare you, so. All right, so thanks, y'all too. Look at this. Okay, so that was so awesome. This is what happens. It's like, so the mom was just telling the kid, be brave. It's important that we change your thought process. Instead of saying, I hate bees, say, I love bees. And then she corrected it and said, say, I like bees. Bees are okay. Like, I heard her saying that while I was sitting here, pausing our video. And so, like, the universe or God or the Creator does this. He brings this for us. He, Mother Earth. I don't think of it like, I think of, like, the Creator encompasses all of this, It's like the Logos. In the beginning was the Logos. Anyway, you don't have to have the same theology as me. But whatever it is that works in me works in these videos to provide for you. And brought the dad saying, be brave. And then the mom saying, let's help you change your thought process, So one of the things that was coming to mind to me, is when you learn how to be safe in your own body and teach yourself how to be safe, and ask God to provide for you ways for you to learn how to be safe. Because just because I didn't feel safe in my childhood, does that mean I get no good relationships the rest of my life, or no good relationship with myself, or I have to be scared the rest of my life and never try new things and never have fun? Because having fun means you feel safe. You feel safe enough to, unless you're drunk, Some people go and use drugs and alcohol because it puts down your inhibitions and then you go wild, But it's like, I want to be able to have fun without being drunk, without using intoxicants, or whatever you want to call it, to numb this part of me that felt really scared in childhood, so that I can have fun. I want to have fun all the time and be wild, and be passionate. So anyway, when you feel safe and all your chakra centers can be open, you can learn about this later, but they can be naturally open and you feel protected and safe, then it's like energy centers it's like 7 different factories or something. They're all working and spinning and lit up and beautiful, and they're not clogged by all these old wounds and old stories and old identifications with your outer, your ego, your exterior personality self. So what happens is when we don't feel safe in childhood, we can get really rigid and we don't try new things, and we get stubborn and controlling, and we try to control things like this, hold it really tightly, because we think, well, things were so chaotic as a child. So when I go wild, things are going to get really bad. And I'm going to have bad experiences, and I'm going to be rejected, I'm going to be hurt, and I'm going to be spit out, I'm going to be crushed. And we might have been as a child. So I'm not saying, like, go out and find destructive people and then ask them, will you be my mommy? Will you be my daddy? Like that one book, Are You My Mommy? Or will you be my friend? Or will you be my boyfriend or my girlfriend? Whatever it is, you learn how to be a safe person towards yourself and try little things that are new. Like, do you think I wanted to be on camera? Look at my old videos from like 2014 or something, or I don't know when they were from. I am not in front of the camera at all. I never wanted to be in front of the camera. Like my ideal job, I wanted to do voiceovers for a while because I love acting, but I never wanted to be in front of the camera. And someone happened to mention the St. Ignatius Center because I was going on a trip to Montreal. And I got lost trying to find it. And I found another person that told me, yeah, it's a good place. And then I went in because I was like, I want spiritual direction. And I just wanted to meet with someone for an hour, But when they heard me say that, they thought I wanted to be matched with a spiritual director. So they're like, come back tomorrow. And I found it because there were these cute guys. I was like, it's always cute guys show me the way. I don't know why. This is how I met all my friends in New York a long, long time ago that are still my friends. That guy was really cute. It was really funny. God knows he works with what like Jesus called the fishermen because they were going to be fishers of men. Anyway, well, I just asked them for directions. I said, do you know where this street is? Because for some reason when I was in Montreal, then my phone wasn't working. So I couldn't look, I didn't have a data plan to look up directions. And I sort of knew where this place was. But they were getting off at the same bus stop. I couldn't help it. There were no girls there. Anyway, so I ended up there and I asked for spiritual direction, and they thought that I meant that I wanted to be matched with a spiritual director. And so they said, come back tomorrow. And I took the bus. It took forever. I knew where it was then. I didn't have to find any cute guys to follow. So they matched me with a woman, and she's been working with me for years now and taught me how to meditate in a different way. And I learned how to meditate different ways from all these Native American wilderness survival classes that I had taken before in 2012, because I thought the world was going to end. 10, 11, 12, I think it was 2011 I'd started taking them to prepare for 2012. But all of that meditation gets you out of your ego mind and gets you in a relaxed state. And one way, actually, you guys can do this, is learn wide angle vision, which is, and I've taught people this, imagine both my arms are out like this, and if you can see both your hands in the periphery, after about 5 minutes of doing that, you can put your arms down after you do that. Your brain waves go into a different brainwave state. So you go from beta, which we're normally in, to an alpha state. They've measured it. And you can memorize things more. You are in a more relaxed state. You see things from a higher state of consciousness. So that's just one little pro tip here that I learned in my wilderness classes. But getting in a relaxed state, that's what I've talked about in some of my other videos of how to look at some of your childhood wounds from that worthiness video that I linked to. I'm so chill right now. Like, I'm so relaxed. I don't even know if I'm And last night I went to the beach, so and I was watching a sunset. I just posted part of the video of me playing around, like getting halfway through the song and then like just looking at the sunset and then playing some more and then singing a different song. It's only 7 minutes long. It's just a little sample of me. Something was like bugging me and I was trying to just get in a flow state without trying, but I was still trying and I could feel it. But I'm not going to criticize myself for trying. And there's a beautiful sunset in the background anyway. But when you practice trying new things, like me coming out here, me getting in front of the camera, I went to the island of Patmos in June by myself. Like I'm like, all right, I'm going to Greece. Never been to Greece before. I traveled before by myself a lot, but never been to Greece. And I took Greek in college, but it wasn't speaking Greek. It was ancient Greek because I want to always understand things on the deepest level. I just got back from Turkey. What I was going to say is when I was meditating on the way up here, this image came in my mind of when I picked up a flower on the ground and I put it in my behind my ear because I heard something. Like you guys, some of you might think this is weird, but I was in a meditative state. I was in Turkey. We were going to all these mystic sites. So like Mary's house, Mary, the mother of Jesus, her house is in Ephesus. And where we were that day was Mary Magdalene's grave. They think it's her grave. And so I was led in my mind, like prompted, like let's say that. It's like if you just, oh look, hawk. That's how I normally do. Look at that. I always say that better be in your view. That is gorgeous. So I was led, just like I was led just now, to look over at the hawk. To pick up this flower and put it behind my ear. And I was like, I wonder why. Like, I don't know why I have this inclination to do this. It really wasn't. It was outside of myself. But the inclination, and I thought, I thought then, oh, maybe it's because we're at Mary Magdalene's grave, or now what happened. And I got this impression, well, how long do I have to do this? Because this feels so awkward. It's so not me. I'm so I usually wear black, like I'm wearing white today, and like roses are on this, but I'm changing that too. But I was like, how long do I have to do this? Because this feels really awkward and I'm so not girly like this. And I got this impression, it was like 15 minutes or whatever. And we ended up, this is what came to my mind this morning, just now, like an hour ago, when I was meditating, is like, we ended up taking these pictures. And me and my friends were in these pictures. And my friend, died 2 weeks ago from now. One of my friends and I met on these trips. And I was asking inside, I was praying, why did I have that flower? And then his face came to my mind. And I was like, we were at Mary Magdalene's grave. I didn't get to go to his funeral because all this stuff was going on. And, I don't know if I would have been invited or whatever, but because I don't know all the rest of his family that well. But I was wearing a flower and I was in a picture with him. And it could have been like a flower for his grave, And it was the sweetest thought. And so this other thought I was thinking is one of the characteristics I love about Christ, about Jesus, is this verse from Isaiah. And when he picked up the scroll later and read the Isaiah passage, and he says, I have come to heal the brokenhearted. And I think this is in that passage, but it says, a bruised reed I will not break. And so there's this gentleness about Christ. And that verse comes to me all the time, And so like if this is like a reed, and or this is more. See, you'll never believe this, like, but I'll just tell you it anyway. Maybe you will. These flowers were on the ground 3 days ago, and I was like, well, I don't want to pick another flower and put it in my ear today because I don't want to pick a flower. If there's one on the ground, I'll pick one up from the ground. I'd already decided that. And I didn't know I was going to go on this car wreck trail. And so I'm coming up here, and like literally 10 steps before these bushes, I'm like, oh, I remember 3 days ago or so, I picked up these flowers off the road because this is the path that a bunch of bikes go down. And these were so pretty. And it's like a bruised reed, and I didn't want them to break, even though they're already on the ground. I didn't want them to break more. So I picked them up and laid them on a bush. And I just looked over and they were there. They were still there. I just remembered them right before I came to that bush. And so now I have these flowers to use as our illustration, as a picture of, if this is bruised, it's like we have a gentle mother, father, God that encompasses both. When I was at Rumi's grave, I got this impression, the Sufi mystic poet Rumi, that we are all brother and sister and mother and father and teacher and student and child and lovers in a way, We are all meant to be lovers of each other, loving, the highest form of love. And so in that, we don't break a bruised reed. We respect where other people are. We're gentle. Christ was showing me, or whatever you want to call it, God, or in my meditation just now, look how easy it is for you now, Cheryl. Like, don't be high and above other people and think, oh, well, I'll come out here and there's coyotes. I'll come out here and there's snakes, because I didn't really want to go in the brambles. That was a new path for me, but I went. And it's important to encourage yourself to have courage. Courage is infusing courage, and courage is to infuse courage. And usually when we have good fathers, they encourage us. And Jesus says, if you want to come after me, you must deny yourself and take up your cross and follow me. Now, if you look at that all rigid and in a, I was going to say a dumb way, but I mean in a black and white way, in a little narrow way, then you're going to see that as a bunch of rules. But if you look at it like I was just seeing it in this expansive state, and it's way more expanded than I was seeing it. I was just seeing it briefly, is you must, in order to come to this expanded, beautiful place where you can see the magic in all of nature and all of creation and everything come alive, and like the life, like a tree nymph in a tree, you'd see the spirit of the tree or something like that. I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying, if you want to come and follow Christ to this heightened, expansive, highest consciousness, highest love place, in union with the Creator state, then follow me, because he, as a man, as a God man, showed us how to do this. And you deny yourself. Deny is to let go of, not identify with the scared part of you, and learn how to teach yourself that it's okay to try new things, and show yourself that you're going to protect yourself and not put yourself in harm's way by picking destructive people, but by learning how to protect yourself in a different way than being rigid and not trying new things and not going after love and not embracing love and not, I don't know, but he says deny yourself. It's like don't identify with your ego who's insisting on staying in this fear brain. Take up your cross. Your cross is whatever needs to die, whatever limited beliefs that I have. If I have beliefs that all men are dumb and they're going to take you to dumb places, that's not gonna bode well for the masculine energy and the masculine part of me, and it's not gonna bode well for I have two sons. Like, how's that gonna work if I think guys are idiots? You know, they're boys, and it's my job, and I take that job very seriously, and I love them, to raise them to embrace who they are, and that they're not dumb, and I know they're not dumb, and so if I'm all rigid, then I'm just going to say, well, it's safer just to keep thinking how I was brought up, you know, because of what I experienced. So you see how I would get stubborn because it's anger and inflexibility, and I don't feel flexible. That's why I was thinking, like, oh, I'll just do the splits on my video. Like, I'll see if I can do them right now, whatever. Like, I'm in the rock, so we'll see. Because I want to try new things. And I mean, the splits aren't new for me, but my legs aren't really warmed up now because I've been sitting. But just so you see, flexible is like, yes, be warmed up. Let's try. All right. Let's see. Because I've never done splits in a video before. All right, let's see if you can see this. There you go. Back leg. I'm completely in the splits. But all that's to say, okay? You don't have to do the splits to be flexible. That's just a form of physical flexibility. I did yoga already this morning, and I did this other dance workout, so I was all warmed up, and then I was walking till just now, you know. So, it's to say, like, I couldn't just do those splits out of nowhere. I've learned how to do them my whole life, and I learned how to keep doing them. And so it's like trying new things. Even if you're like in the kitchen and you start listening to some music and you start dancing and you're not used to dancing, or you start singing. I never sang before, and I can barely sing now. And I know I was listening last night, I'm like, oh, but it's like, whatever. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Who is the judge in my life? These are my videos. I can put them however I want. I can be imperfect. I can be just trying to learn how to sing. I could never learn how to sing. I can just sing badly if I want to sing badly. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter who watches them, because that's not why I'm doing it. All of this is an adventure. And if I'm not willing to go to these places and look like an idiot and do splits in the middle of the woods, then, you know, why would you? And this is where I was hearing Christ say, you know, follow me, come, because I'm showing you the way. I'm doing it before. And he faced literal death. And we face a death of our egotism and our rigid, you know, our ways that are formed out of our fear, you know. It's sad, but like, I'm not gonna miss out on life and on love because other people taught me it wasn't safe, and they didn't protect me in ways in childhood. I learned how to protect myself now. I learned how to find my swan self and find that I have a soul self that is a million times more than this physical avatar of my body, you know? I am so much more than this being. I'm so much more than my ego. My ego is so limited. And so to take up my cross and the next word is follow me. It doesn't say follow. It means come alongside, join me on this path. It's like, you know, if we're on the Wizard of Oz and we're like, we're off to see the wizard, you know, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And we're joining arms. I know it's gonna sound stupid to some of you guys, but I don't mind. Today in my meditation, I felt Christ, like he had his arm around me, and I had my arm around his waist. It was really intimate. It's like this picture that I know I have of one of my friends, you know, where I just felt really close to that person in that moment. But it felt like that familiar, and it was like, this is really weird. Like, are you sure? I could only do it for like 5 minutes of my walk, because it just felt so awkward. And it's sad because it's like, that would be great if I was willing to be that close all the time with Christ, you know, but it's awkward for me. And I've had meditations where I'm in the middle of the meditation, and when I said, like, give us this day our daily bread, give us this day the spiritual food that we need, like, I saw Christ as this golden, like, turn into light, like the transfigured Christ, but it was golden like the sun. and me stepping into that and all my cells being changed into that, you know. And so I've had all sorts of different visions that I could enter into, but this was like, oh wait, this is awkward. Like, you want to walk next to me and hold my hand or whatever. Like, it just, it's like cliche too. People were like, oh, make Jesus your best friend, you know. But I wasn't instigating that. It just, this is what I saw in my meditation, and I try to be at peace and just go with what shows up and experience it and encounter it, and not like, oh, I gotta put this on video and write it down so I can put it in my video, you know, and with you guys. But just wait and see, because that's a really quiet and intimate moment, and I don't know if I ought to be sharing it right now. It's not some haphazard thing that just shows up out of nowhere. But I was told by this teacher that everything in the Gospels, everything that was given to any one of the people that came across Christ's path, is meant to also be given to you. So you can imagine yourself in any one of those situations or any parable. And I've just been imagining Christ in the Transfiguration. I think that was early this morning I woke up, or last night when I couldn't sleep. But that's different. But anyway, so I just encourage you, you don't have to have the same thing with Christ. Just understand from your own religious perspective or non-religious or spiritual path or whatever. I speak to you from what I know. I'm not trying to teach, a certain religion here. I teach to you from what I know. And this is from what I know of love. And I want all people to know love. And I see Christ as the most loving. But people like Rumi and the Buddha and you can feel how at peace they were. And even Mooji, Mooji, I love him, or Eckhart Tolle even. I'm not recommending all of their stuff for every single person. I'm just saying you can feel they are at peace in the present moment. And when you're at peace, you can, oh, look at the sun. You can go into all these new places, and you can have so much more fun when you're in your life. Oh gosh, I hope there wasn't something all over my face for all that. Oh my gosh. I'll have to have a video with me with stuff all over my face. Oh, maybe because I got tears in my eyes about my friend. Look, there's a hawk. That might be a vulture. No, wait. Look at that. Anyway. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you guys understand. I want you to know love. If you choose to know love, that's what I'm teaching on these videos, and that's what I'm learning myself. Look at these sun rays. Gosh. We live in such a beautiful world. We're so lucky. And there are people just stuck in their homes right now, really scared, scared of a disease. I'm not going to judge that. That's why I'm making these, so people can at least virtually get out by some other means. If they're not going to get out. If they can't get out too, some people are in the city. But trying little new things builds up your confidence and shows you can try bigger new things. And when you have a faith, this is what I was saying in my last video. I just wrote down a couple of the steps of AA, not because I'm promoting people to stop, doing this or that or whatever. I'm not like everyone, what's the word? Live and let live. I'm more like that. I'm more like, you find what's working for you. And But I met this woman, this person, well, I guess I already said woman, the other day, and we were just talking about AA, and I used to work at a rehab for 1 year in my training. And so I remembered the steps of AA, and one of the steps is surrendered to a power greater than yourself. And, you know, they used to say, it's like, you can't get sober unless you do this. And people would be like, I don't want to do that. What does that mean? But here's a practical way to think of it, is if we don't realize there's a love higher than our ego, then our ego keeps saying, I'm the boss, and you have to stay in control, and you have to stay rigid, and you have to stay angry, you're going to get wrecked, you know? You're going to lose yourself in that relationship, or you're going to lose, and it's like you lose yourself in this higher love. Bring me a higher love. I have that song. I recorded it a long time, well, I mean, right when I was learning guitar and singing. It's a really beautiful song. I recommend it. So you surrender to a love that's higher than the one you knew in childhood, and a one that's higher than your egotism. And then you can go and you feel safe in these places because you build up this faith in something that you've learned is more loving than the path you were on and the way you were rigidly trying to take yourself on. And that opens you up to true love. I couldn't let go of everything that I've let go of unless I knew that there was a higher love, and that love is what's holding me. And even when I don't feel it holding me, and I feel really alone, and I feel really broken, it shows up, it keeps showing up. Like it did with the deer, and it did with the flower in my ear, and it did with these. It did with showing me the picture of my friend, and I got to wear a flower before he died. And one of the last pictures I have with him. I got to do the splits with you guys on my video. Love you guys. I love you guys. Be loved. Be loved. And don't make fun of me, but feel free. If you do, I don't care. I'm doing this for love's sake. I do it for something higher than myself. I hope to God always to do it for something higher than myself. All right, I love you.